You and my brother will have a good time hanging out with each other.
Pooh
Two
Bear said the exact.
retirees.
Pooh Bear said the exact same. Just make it bigger. Go back to that. You see it up there, Google Chrome. Click it. Where? Oh, up there. Yeah, right here. There? No, Dad. Google. Right there. Okay. There you go. Okay, that's how I get value. Can y'all hear us?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Daddy over there pressing buttons. I was like,
Grandpa stayed trying to improve a perfect system.
He's searching imperfection. Huh? I don't know why you pressed it. You just touched the mouse for a reason. I said something. I don't know. Everything's working though. Yeah, I was wondering why I went up there though. Oh, that I have no idea. You grabbed the mouse for a reason. I have no idea why you did it.
Something jolted him. He was like, "This isn't exactly how I wanted to see it. It's
Yeah,
working fine, but it's not quite working the way I want it to work."
I mean, the screen is large. I mean, he got it. I don't know what else he. I'm trying to figure out why I went up there. Yeah, that I don't know because you got good size screen. And, see everybody. Yeah, I got my email fixed, so you can email me the link now. The link.
Well, we gotta put Grandpa's email out there so his fans can send him their letters. Hey,
hey, listen, I came up to Southeast Hell to fix it. Satan sitting over there in the corner in his drawers talking about Freddie. Come on, player. Come on, player. It's hot.
What was wrong with his email? Like that was strange. We couldn't get to it for some reason.
Well, I don't know, but they end up connecting that currently with the old Taylor F.
Yeah.
And once I was able to go in and reset the email, if you send him an email, it's coming to both email boxes. I can't even tell you what I did, but I fixed it. So.
Hey, as long as it works, that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. All right, I'll let you folks get to it. Don't party too much.
You can always come on the show, Uncle Hank. You can't. You get nothing but time.
Now, this feels like work to me, and I just don't do that no more.
Come on with it, brag on it.
This feels like work to me. Oh God.
I not like it.
Brag on it.
Yeah, no. Shit, I'm trying to find somebody to carry me down the steps.
Sit on your butt and slide down like a kid.
Hey, Uncle Hank. Hey, Uncle Hank. Now that Sebastian's the old baby, you can stand on his back, have him carry.
Look here.
You're right. Don't be. Hey, look now. Seabass still the man.
Yes.
The baby boy, see that. You talking about now that he ain't the new baby no more. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. That little one gonna have to earn his way in. Right. We gonna beat him in. And if it's a girl, then we'll kiss her in.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's how Grandma taught us. You can't just you pick your spots.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's a big house. He has been and hid that baby from y'all. I got
What was that movie? Oh, Boss Baby with the older brother didn't like the younger one.
That's what I'm gonna start calling him, BB, Boss Baby. Well, we already got a BB. So. That's a good one.
That was a funny movie.
When did you guys find out?
Oh, we went to ultrasound appointment today.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's like I was nervous because I was like, well, since she was sick so much earlier this time, I thought it might be more than one. But when I saw only one, I was like, okay, we're good.
I'm better. All right, man. What up, dude?
Pops, you said that because you ain't got to raise him. Your son said that foolishness too, until it was a fear because I was so big with Jair, they thought he was twins. Then he freaked out. He was talking that trash at the beginning, like, wouldn't it be cool if we had twins? I'm like, no, it would not be cool to have twins. It's
like,
when
I've been like, pick one. Somebody gonna make it.
In the beginning, you take one of your house, I take one in my house. Because I'm not about to have two of them hanging off me while I'm trying to study, cook, and clean. And no. I'm not cleaning 2 diapers in the middle of the night. No.
Yeah.
It's not cute.
Let me go grab my beer. I'll be right back.
How you show up to work not prepared?
I'm into a meeting without a beer.
Hey, man, I've been off.
See, that's right. Uncle Hank knew he didn't call this a job. He was just like,
Hank just wanted
so hot in there here, hang out and drink with us.
Hank wanted to be employed. He needed a gig.
You probably need one of them cold beers to cool you down, Hank. You may as well grab a cold one while you up in there.
It's probably, you bring it up here, it's probably boiling by now.
See, that's how Grandpa never gets drunk. All the alcohol evaporates before he can drink it. He just gets the leavings of the beer.
See, Daddy's beer is called twice brewed. You bring it up here, it brews again. That shit hot. I think I lost about 15 pounds. I'm comfortable. I know you are.
Grandpa over here wearing his full body all black tracksuit. He probably got
scarf and a hat.
He probably got his pants tucked into his socks just to make sure no heat escapes.
And he got a wool sock.
All of the above.
Oh man, I remember like a week. Was it last week before last? He had a hat on too.
Sure did. He probably tell me like, "Stop being a punk. I raised you better than that. Ain't no wrong with you."
Daddy be up here in North Face.
There you go. There you go.
How's that? Nothing escapes.
He's like, now what?
Hey, just picture the heat miser.
That would be fun. If I had good editing skills, I would try to put that song together with him. Just various shots of him sitting in his hot room.
Yeah, man. You know how the pavement hot, you can see the heat rise. I can see it over there in the closet. Yeah, it's hot. He comfortable, so let him have at it. All right, I'm going downstairs to rehydrate.
I was gonna say cool off.
Yeah, cool off.
For every 10 minutes, you need a gallon of water. Shit. I'll see you guys in a bit.
See you guys. All right. Man, that's funny. But what you got today, Grandpa? We want a beer in?
I'm living high.
Must be Killians.
Killian.
I knew it.
Yes, sir. Are y'all?
I know Grandpa's having a good day. He didn't got the Killians out. I remember we drank. What was it? I forgot. What was it? 24 pack, a 24 bottle case of Killians, and Grandpa went through that like in 2 days. Like he didn't share it with nobody. I remember I remember coming back and I was like, it was gone. He's like, Josh, run to the store, give me some more Killians. I'm like, Grandpa, we just bought you a case.
Had a hole in the bottle at the top.
Well, what you got, Auntie?
Just grab one of the other beers.
Yeah.
Okay.
7.0, just a regular IPA. That's all. Nice and easy today.
Okay.
I got the Tropical Beer Hug Imperial IPA.
All right.
Oh,
Well, I got something for y'all today, a little different. It's called Black Cherry Bourbon Barrel Tea Beer.
Black Cherry Bourbon Barrel Tea Beer.
I would try that.
Tea beer from Wild Ohio Brewing.
Not
Try
familiar with that.
Beer made with barley. Beer made without barley or malt, made with fermented sugars and fruit juice.
Maybe I wouldn't.
I'm out.
It's 9%.
I don't care.
Let me see. So here's the ingredients. It actually puts all the ingredients on the can: cane sugar, green and black tea, fruit juice, citric acid, sulfates, and tea beer brewed with juices and spices and with natural black cherry bourbon barrel flavoring added. So
I feel like Pops. That ain't beer.
I don't know because Urban Company has a tea beer that I absolutely love. It's probably one of my favorites from them. So that's why I'm thinking I might Hardly ever.
I didn't realize it didn't have barley or any of it.
I mean, it smells good.
Hey, let's go. You might be onto something. Who knows?
You might be onto something.
You got a glass, nephew?
No, I don't. You know, I've been running around for your niece all day because you know she pregnant. She going through a hardship.
Oh my God. It sure is.
She going through a hardship.
You know, she called me and went off on me lightweight Sunday.
Oh, because she didn't see you.
Yeah, she thought I was there, didn't see me. I was
yeah.
like, I did not come there. I promise. No way.
She was cool on the move. If she didn't see you when you were here, especially now she pregnant, she'd have been hurt.
yeah. I get a pass. Chris would have got it.
Oh my goodness. That is let me see. So based on the smell, I'm gonna give it a pre-rating of 7 because I don't know. I never had tea beer, so I don't know what to think. Wow, that's interesting. That's like
you can give me a 6 on the Killian.
Only a 6? Wait a minute. What did he give a 7 last week? Oh, he gave that other red ale.
yeah.
So wait a minute. So Pops, the beer you had last week is better than Killian's?
And what was the name of it?
Audience something red ale.
Patty's Red.
Audience Patty's red ale.
Oh, okay. Patty's Red Ale. Oh, okay.
So you like that better than Killian's?
Oh, I forgot about Killian. Maybe I'd rather kick Killian back up again.
Well, that means you got to take that Killian's up to a 7.
Yeah, because me and Freddie was in the store. And we were going to get something, and then we saw the Killian. You know, hey, Killian. I had forgot I had Killian in a long time.
Pops wanted Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
And then we got there and he said, how about Killian's? Like, yeah, come on with that.
Man,
I'm convinced you don't like your taste buds. I'm convinced.
Killian, though. I didn't even see it. You know.
I think I mean, we already have the working theory that beer tastes different up there because of the heat difference. So I mean, that could very well be the alchemical process that changes the taste of the beer, make it taste like something.
I will say, on a hot day, I could drink almost any trash beer and be happy as long as it's cold. If it's cold, I'm gonna take it down.
Yeah, that Killian's wasn't bad.
Killian ain't no trash beer now.
It's not trash.
You know, you introduced me to Killian, right? Ain't no trash beer here. This is amongst the best. You know, it may not be the best, but it's amongst the best.
Now you're going too far. I already gave you that it wasn't trash. Don't put it in there with the best part. Now you're going too far.
This kind of tastes like sparkling wine. A little
really?
Bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Just without the tannin taste.
Okay.
You know how some wines
without the barley and the wheat.
Yeah, like some wines can get really tanniny and get like a little soot in your mouth or something. This don't get none of the other stuff.
Okay. It's
not bad. Like, I would, you know, I'll bump it up to 7.5. I'll drink it some more.
Okay.
I'm depending on the situation, I might even buy it again.
Oh, okay. That was
because I know at the store they had another flavor of this, but I don't know if I'm gonna get that. It was pineapple. I don't know if I want that.
Pineapple.
I don't know if I want to buy a 6-pack of a pineapple beer. That's just
they came in 6-packs.
Oh. Yeah, like I would buy it if it was just one off to taste it, just so I can rate it. But like this, I could probably drink this a few more times so I can finish this.
That's cool.
Okay. I'm there for. So what we talking about today?
Shoot, man, there's a lot of things that came up, but I guess we could talk about let's talk about Elon Musk and the Twitter fiasco that he's in, and tie that into accountability. So have y'all heard?
You got to break it down.
So basically, a few weeks ago, Elon Musk is just like he just like flippantly said, "I'm about to buy Twitter," and then like stock market price of Twitter rose up. All this type of stuff happened. And like he sold like I don't know how much of his Tesla stock to get $44 billion. and it was just like, I'm about to just buy it. It's about to be mine, right? Talking all this jibber jabber. You know how Elon Musk does. But now he's saying that Twitter wasn't open about or wasn't honest about the number of bots, like the number of fake accounts they have on their platform. He's like, that's changing the evaluation of what it is to him or whatever. But I remember distinctly that he had said that maybe it was him, maybe he was joking when he said it. He's like, I don't care if I even make money off Twitter. He just wanted to buy it. And I'm like, if you're like, I think this was just kind of one of those things, like, you know how like in America, like you're knighted it basically in America if you buy like a sports franchise, like you're kind of like, it's like a legacy thing to, you know, Twitter. You know, you own basically this generation's like news platform basically. Because back in the day, what, you know, the real money, you own a newspaper, you own a news station. Now you own a news site basically, which is what Twitter is for all intents and purposes. And now it just seems kind of like, you know, this isn't the first time Elon has done something like this. And, you know, we see people in the news defending billionaires all the time, but I mean, he's human like everybody else. And to me, it's about, you know, we got to hold people accountable to what they say. You say you want to do this, that, and third. You say you don't care if you lose money off it, blah, blah, blah. But now you complain about certain things that are financial aspects to it. So, like, no, why are you really buying it if it wasn't for the fact that you just wanted to have it, right? So, like, that's like in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. But the motives behind certain things, because like buying a media site like that has so much of everyone's information it's a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking about people's personal information, their personal thoughts. I mean, that technically, this not like it's not out there for people to find, but you have access to the inner workings of it.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know. I thought about that today, and I wanted to just to propose it to a greater less, I guess, a lesser extent. You know, people blowing up, people who they don't even know breaking up with Steve Harvey, Michael B. Jordan, and talking about like why like it was a thing out, and I'm just making
Not
comparisons.
Steve Harvey, Lori boy.
Lori Harvey, I'm sorry.
I'm like Steve.
I thought I said Steve Harvey's daughter because I know her name.
Lori.
And I'm trying to make two examples of accountability here, and people are like who don't know these people are very up in arms about it. And for those who don't know, I think Michael B. Jordan's 35 and she's 25. And like the arguments that I've seen, which still to me are mind-boggling, if there's arguments about this, is that like she is in fact too young to like get married. And that's what I wanted to bring up. I'm like, at what point are you old enough to make a decision for yourself in that manner? Like what like if you're ready to me. That's another part of accountability. Like you know what you're prepared for and what things you're willing to agree on. Not that it matters to me about that particular situation. I just thought people's reasoning for it was kind of weird.
Well, we were married at 24 and 25.
Okay.
Pops, how old were you all? Pops, how old were you when you all got married?
How old was I?
Yes, sir.
I was 21.
You were 21 when you and Nate got married?
Yeah. When I was going on 22 or 21. Mm-hmm. The other was
Yes.
16, 17.
Ooh, we Pops a sugar daddy. He went and got that little young tender.
That's about what it was.
You said that's about what it was.
He said that's what it was.
But that's how it was in that era, right? That was, you know.
But my thing is, I don't think 25 is too young. I appreciate her for being honest about it. I think that, you know, she's coming into her own little recognition for whatever she does. I don't know if she does anything other than be cute and be Steve Harvey's daughter. I don't know. But I think that it was brave of her to be honest to say, I don't want to settle down yet. And with him being older, he's probably ready for the whole family thing. And she's probably not. And one of my girlfriends was like, well, why would they date if she wasn't ready? I'm like, because most people, they start dating, they're dating for fun. You know, it's like, I don't think anybody goes on the first date initially saying, hey, I'm trying to look for a wife until you're or a husband, until you're at that point where you know you're ready to get married. I don't know if he planned to wife her when he first met her. He's probably like, oh, she cute, go hang out with her. And then he fell for her harder than she obviously fell for him. And but I mean, I just appreciate them having a conversation and them deciding to split ways, whether it was her, him, whoever, before it got too nasty. I mean, let people live and make their own decisions. So
Who are you talking about?
So Steve
Nobody.
Harvey.
Nothing important.
Steve Harvey, he has a daughter who's 25.
Okay.
And she was dating the actor from one of the actors from Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
The one who played in Creed 2. So he's like 35. And like they have a 10-year age difference or something. And they've been dating for about, I don't know, year or two. I don't know how long it is. But they recently broke up, and everybody's all up in arms about it, because supposedly the reason they broke up is because he was ready to settle down and she wasn't. So they're saying that 25 is too young for her to get married anyway. So it's saying we've been married since 24, 25. You were married at 21. And like Joshua said, it's not about, I don't think it's about age when you want to get married or when you're ready to get married. I mean, it is what it is. I just appreciate her for being honest about it. And that's the thing, because I think people are whatever with her, because so many of these old cougars will snatch his little young butt up quick, fast, in a hurry. So they like, girl, how you let him go or whatever? But she knows what she wants and what she don't want. Not to say that she doesn't care about him, that he's not a good guy, whatever. Just what they want just is not aligned. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually very mature of her to say.
No, I can agree with that. I mean, like I said, I don't know the situation. I was just talking about the reasoning for what people were saying, not their situation in particular, just the reason saying that somebody was too young at 25 to get married. I'm like, that is like, you have reason. Like, as an adult,
do they have the same reason? And are you too young at 16 to have a baby, or 17 to have a baby?
That's a good point. I mean,
they having babies older, younger than that, and apparently in America, children can change their gender. So I mean, if you can change your gender,
that into every conversation,
because that's a fact.
Because when you say someone is too young to make a decision that they want to get married,
I got you. I receive it.
They're not too young to change their gender.
I receive it.
That's a good point.
I receive it.
Yeah, when America pull out these things and show who they are, then I'm gonna bring it up every time, like every rip. Like,
I receive it.
This looks a little hypocritical to me, but all right.
Just like people, they say you too young to buy alcohol at 18, but you can go fight for this country, and die. Make up your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like which one is it? So
I just think it's interesting, like what age of accountability for certain things is. Like, remember a few years ago during the Olympics or something, those excuse me, I'm trying to burp, I can't. Excuse me. Okay, now I can. But remember the Olympics, like some scandal happened, like a bunch of dudes got in some trouble over there, and they're like, the media kept calling them like kids and young men, but then you find out they're like 32. I mean, like, at what age do we hold people accountable for the age they're at?
Well, young white men, can't be held accountable in a little brown country like that. So they were kids being ran.
They said the same thing with George W. Bush with all the stuff he was doing. He was young. He was at 20-some years old with all the foolishness he was doing. Like it's you're too young when it's a good excuse.
I think when people try to justify things as too young when they want to point out that that's probably something that I think it's like what's it called, dry snitching on themselves, because you're basically admitting that I probably did something about that same time, that age, and I don't want people to judge me because I did stuff like that, so I'm not going to say nothing about it, because like I just think that's kind of what it is. Like, when you gave the example of people are people too young to have kids at 16, 17, and people are hardcore willing to blame people for that, like, oh, you didn't have good decision making, or why didn't you do this, that, and the third? But flip, like you have said, 25 was too young to get married. I'm like, how is it that? And it's probably because most those people who are blaming that child for what right or wrong for their opinions of it, is the fact that they themselves didn't have kids at 16, and they're thinking, well, if I didn't do that, why would you? Like, that just seems dumb. But not getting married at 25, they're like, well, I didn't get married at 25. Well, that's good for you. That seems pretty smart. You're too young anyway.
It's so funny when you say that, because I only know about this because my girlfriend just mentioned it to me Saturday, and I was just like, But we were talking about the age, and I was like, hell, we got married when I was 24. Then I thought about it, our oldest son, if he lived like us, he would already have a kid and be getting married in 2 years. That sounds crazy. Just because his 22 is different from our 22. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's about a number. It's about maturity level, experiences, and things like that. Like, I couldn't imagine him coming in right now talking about he having a kid, and definitely not in 2 years. I'm about to get married. Say what? Say huh? Huh?
Why is that? You saying
We
because
hypocrites.
life experience?
No, I don't say that. That's not being a hypocrite. That my life experiences were very different than his. Like, I have basically been literally on my own, paying all the things and figuring everything out since I was 17. It was just different. I had already been running my own household before I had a kid, so it was different, about paying student loans, all the things. It was a different time and a different lifestyle.
So is it less about age and more about you just being, like you said, you were out in the world 17, you had already had, like we said, 24, so you had about 7 years of life experience, like on your own before you decided to
been in the military, been to different countries, lived on my own for a while. Like, it's just different. Yeah, it's very different.
But well, if you can compare it though, I mean, how is that? How he is now? He's 22, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very much different from Uncle Pooh Bear. Uncle Pooh Bear wasn't in the military or anything like that.
He wasn't, but he left once he left home. He never went back either. At 18, he still figured it out. And just made sure he stayed on his own, whether it was with roommates, his own place, or whatever.
Okay.
It is a difference.
Okay. Now, is that something that is there like a? So I'll ask this question.
Now, I will say he's had basically the same financial support as your uncle. So I will say that is very similar. But as far as just other things he had to do, they were different though.
So it's different. So when you say different, do you mean better or worse or the same?
I don't think there's a such thing as a better or worse. Because same conversation with my girlfriend Saturday, I was talking about somebody else that I had a conversation with that we went to college with. Mm-hmm. So a few years ago, he was telling me about his daughter starting med school, I think, or something like that. And he was talking about how much he was paying for it, But then we started talking about how none of our parents were able to pay for us to go to school, right? I still got student loans. So the conversation was, are we doing our kids a service or disservice by giving them what we didn't have, right? Mm-hmm. And there's really no right or wrong answer. I believe that the struggle made me who I am, but then I also agreed with your uncle when he was saying that the kids shouldn't have to struggle just because I did. They should be able to have a life of comfort. So I don't know what's right or wrong. There are pros and cons to all of it. I don't think any is better or worse. It's just about the things that you have to consider when making decisions.
Right. No, I can understand that, and I think I agree that no one, like, this is my opinion. Like, as a parent, a newer parent than y'all, that I think that we should want to make lives better for those who came after us. Sure. But better is subjective. Like,
yep.
Like, giving a better, more comfortable life without showing how to get it could be just as damaging as over spoiling somebody.
Exactly.
And I think that I think this harkens back to a conversation we had a few weeks back when I was talking about like socially, do we like not like mandate it, but like individually as families, do we have like a rite of passage ceremony or a rite of passage situation to like help teach our younger people how to kind of do things for themselves before they go out, go on to the world, so they're more prepared. You know what I mean? Like you said, you got out the house when you were 17. Like, were you amply prepared to do that?
Hell no. I figured it out.
I understand, but like I think there is a way to do that to teach somebody like how to prepare them so that when they get out on their own, they have a better mental step of how to handle things as opposed to just like figuring it out. Because sometimes you fall into pitfalls because you're well intentioned of doing the right thing, but because you don't know the processes, things happen.
Yeah, I think for me, what made it better for me, excuse me, turn it into you, nephew. What made it better for me was that I was the youngest in my household.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched and I learned from my older siblings' mistakes. So there were certain things I knew not to do once I got to college. But was there a lot of direction from my parents? No, because they didn't go. They couldn't guide me on that. And
Mm-hmm.
my siblings, they were just siblings, and they're not much older than me. So it wasn't like they were trying to teach me and bring me up and like, what's this? You should do this and that. I'm just listening and watching the stuff they were going through. And I was like, I don't want to go through that. So I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But had I not watched them, I probably would have fallen into the same pitfalls.
Mm.
So it was just, I learned a lot just from watching my environment.
Well, Grandpa, what do you think about all of that? Like when you were coming up, like when you were coming out with your brothers and sisters and everything, did you feel like your parents or your family prepared you enough to be able to go on your own and be successful, or did you just leave the house and just kind of had to figure it out?
Yeah, when I was 17, when I was just, how old were you when you went to the service, Crystal?
I was 18 when I went in, but I graduated from high school at 17.
I went in at 17, and so it wasn't like I had somebody experience to tell me what to do, etc., etc. When you go in there, you find out it's a different world. When you get on your own in the military, you find out it's different than when you was at home. Of course, like I was saying too, it's kind of difficult to explain because the environment back in the day. My father, he had about a fourth grade education. He came from Georgia, came up here in 1922. So as far as social things like that, he just come from the hard working field to the city and got a job in the factory. So he didn't impart too much information, as to what not. I mean, like I'm saying, it's a different world. It's a different world than it is now. As far as information. But I was 16. I just turned 17 or 17 in October. I went in the Army when I graduated high school, in January of 1947. But when you get into the military, then you learn that all the things you didn't know, you're gonna be learning as you go through your military career. You come out with, like I was saying, I spent 2 years over in Japan. So different experience. Let me say that.
So I would like to ask you a question, Pops, too. As we're talking about the balance between giving your children a lot or letting them figure it out or whatever, why did you and they feel like it was so important to make sure that you all paid for Pooh to go to high school when there was a public school option available?
What you said about paying? Say that again. No, I missed something.
I was just saying, what was your motivator to pay for him to go to Detroit? I'm sorry.
You're going to pay.
Central. I was going to say the whole name.
As you grow older, kids grow older, the first kids, and when they're young, you get something. And then as you grow older, more kids, you're going to get less, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as sharing, And then when he was the youngest, the reason he went to Catholic Central because I went to Hamtramck High School, and Catholic Central used to play Hamtramck on a Sunday. That was amazing. And Catholic Central had a real good football team. And so Freddie was showing his athletic ability. I said, hey, Catholic Central going to be for him because he's going to get a good education. And he, in other words, he was the only one at home. So then at the time when he went to school, I could afford to send him to Catholic Central. It wasn't no easy thing, but I was afford to send him to Catholic Central. And because I wanted him to get experience, which he did, because he found he learned a lot of stuff. Maybe at Catholic Central, he probably wouldn't have got it, in a regular school. Well, the schools depend on location. You get into a location where education is so important. Not so important, you don't get as much, experience or education as you would into another location. Am I getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's Uncle Pooh. Do you agree with that? Like, do you think that you learned more or better at Catholic Central than say if you gone somewhere else?
Yeah, absolutely. If I'd have went to the local high school, then I would have. That's all I would have been exposed to. So going to Catholic Central exposed me to stuff that I would have never seen.
Yeah.
Like what?
Shit, like folks actually got money out here. Hell, I didn't know that. I mean, and them houses you see on TV, and you think that, man, nobody live in them big ass houses. Yes, they do. In fact, they like regular people, and they just live in these big houses. And like they got opportunity, and like just seeing
I
something.
think you said one time to one of the houses, you said you thought that was the gatekeeper. I mean, you thought that was the house, and that was the gatekeeper's house.
Yeah. You
I'm
got
like,
a house.
the house is way back in the back. Hey, your house, hey, that's the house where they live at. No, you got a big trailer to take you up to the big house.
Oh, I never heard that part.
Yeah, probably that story that where I be talking about that house, like you winding down this road, like you like, man, damn, where the house at then? Like it is way back there. But getting exposed to money and opportunity and entrepreneurship, like I don't know if Mr. Pongers shares with me the things that he shared with me while I had that gig there that summer. If I didn't play on the football team with his son, right? He probably doesn't talk to me the way he did.
Yeah.
And it just kind of changed everything. So like that exposure is real. And I got to see white people up close. What they really about, right? What they teaching their kids.
Was it? I didn't hear you actually say anything educational, like curriculum based. It's just more like life based. Like you got to have better.
No, the curriculum was head and shoulders above what everybody else was teaching. When I got to college was a review. That was easy. Like I didn't have to pay attention because we did all that. Like it was like, what? This what y'all teaching? Like, oh man, this is.
And guess who was struggling? and the difference is, I graduated number 7 out of my high school class.
Yeah, I think I was number 125 or.
Here I go walking on campus.
Hell, I might have been 225.
Right. I'm walking on campus thinking I'm smart because I graduated top 10 in my class. Got in class and was like, what they talking about? Like, it was like I felt like that teacher was I'm sitting there like, and everybody else around me is like, it's nothing to them. Like it was like your uncle. It was just review to them, and it was so new to me. I really struggled with the especially the math classes. Like everything else is, like theory and stuff like that. Yeah, I can catch up on that. That's me forming my opinion and logic stuff, putting it all together. But when it came to the math stuff and the speed that they want to take the classes, I had a hard time that first year. I remember the first semester I took finite math, and I never get my teacher. He gave us homework, and I don't get the homework at all. So when we come back to class, I would call my sister because my sister taking fine dining. She was trying to walk me through it online, over the phone, over the phone. So we get to class the next time, and he asked, "Were there any questions about the homework?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like I was really stumped on number 3. So he gets the book. He gets the book. He writes the problem on the board. He stepped back, put his hands on his hips, and said, "Well, that's self-explanatory. Let's move on." And kept on going. And I was like, "Obviously, it's not. I just said I did not get it." And everybody else in the class was like, "Yeah, moving on." And I was just like, and I would hear them around me having their own little conversations about little study sessions that I was never invited to. But I made it through. I got it. But the beginning, like those different maths, like accounting and stuff, oh, you could mess with me in accounting. Accounting is my thing, but like finite calc, stuff like that, fam, I struggled in the beginning because I had to figure it out. I had to catch up with everybody.
I think there's something to that. I remember when I first got to Michigan State, my first year I was on academic probation. I was just like, part of it was the fact that I got my mama's house and got to be free a little bit. So I was kind of like didn't know how to act.
Was the master.
That was took me out the game, man. I remember they called my scholarship called my mama. Was just like, your son on probation. So after that, I kind of had to learn how to, it was like an adjustment period. I like you, stuff just kind of came easy to me in high school, so I just kind of got through it, and I was fine. I graduated like top 10 in my class too. So I was just like, I get to college, I'm like, this is gonna be the same thing. All I gotta do is read the definitions in the book, take the test, and I'm done. And they're like, no, you gotta be able to prove some of this stuff. So I was just like, all right. But that second year, I got on the dean's list, and I think I graduated college. Now, this isn't like super high because I know people who got perfect GPAs, but I think I graduated college with like a 3.7.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what my GPA
especially if you was on probation first semester.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know, I still remember my GPA to this day because I was struggling to get that bad boy up. Because I had a couple semesters where I wasn't quite doing the right thing. I graduated with a 2.911. And I know that because I was trying my best to at least get over 3.0, because when you go your whole life, like I was literally on the honor roll, top student, all that stuff my entire life. There was never, ever an award ceremony where they didn't hear my name. Like I was always up there. And then I can't even get a 3.0 in college.
I'll say another good lesson that Catholic Central taught me was there's some people on this planet that's smarter than you. And it doesn't matter how hard you work and try, they're smarter than you. That doesn't make them better than you, but they are sharper than you. And like, that's just the fact. Yeah, right. That's just the fact, right? Like I've seen them dudes. I was like, wow. Because before Catholic Central, I was at the top of the class too, right? But I got there and really, really understood what intelligence looked like. Like, oh, I'm pretty sharp and clever. I don't know if I'm like super intelligent, right? But I was okay with that because then I started having conversations with the entrepreneurial fathers out there, and they're telling you that, you don't necessarily have to be the sharpest to be the most intelligent to be successful. It's like, in fact, you can hire those people. So you don't even need to know everything, depending on what you want to do with your life and how you want to organize people and resources, right?
I applaud the intelligent. I think you got it. I think. Oh, I'm sorry, Grandpa.
Go ahead, Pop.
I was getting ready to say, I don't know how you access knowledge will come forward. But when Joshua's mother was pregnant, she used to read to him. Did she ever tell you that?
You talking to me?
Yeah. Your mother used to read to you.
Oh,
I mean, when she was pregnant, I'm just wondering, she'd be at Borders bookstore, and she would get certain books and she'd go over and read to you.
You don't remember that, John? Please.
Grandpa be pulling stuff out of people's own histories. Like, you didn't know this about yourself?
But you know what? No, go ahead, Pops.
I know. I was just saying when his mother was pregnant, she used to read to him. And I think a lot of women do that too. Because evidently there's some kind of connection there. You read your child before they're born, and they come out with some knowledge. So maybe that extra 3.7 or 3.8, you might have got some of that with her reading to you.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I read to both of the boys while I was pregnant.
You did?
Yes, sir.
I would read one thing, yeah.
I would read to them every night, and then when they were born,
she be reading and asked her sometimes, or she told you. She ever tell you that?
What?
Did she ever tell you that?
Maybe I don't remember. I know she read to me when I was a baby, but I didn't know about that.
Yeah. You said she what?
I know she read to me as like when I was a baby, like when I was here, like I came out. But I didn't know.
You were pregnant then, and she used to read.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even once the boys were born, we would still read to them every night, and we would let them sleep with the book because we wanted them to develop love for reading. So when they woke up in the middle of the night, they would play with the books. That's what would entertain them. And then it was just funny when they thought they were reading the books because, like driving a baby gibberish or whatever. But like that love of reading came real quick. Like they say it was important. And I think that's why I did it because but they also said it was important for you to read to the kid so they could hear your voice a lot too and grow into that. So that's interesting. My mama smoked with me. That's what my mama did. And she used to love to tell that story. She used to be like, with your sister, I couldn't stand cigarettes, but I used to smoke all the time with you. I'm like, thanks, Ma. Like,
I was like, I could have been a little bit taller if it wasn't for your smoke.
I'm like, that's not a proud story, Mom, but she would always talk about that.
After you're gonna win some award, and someone's gonna bring up that story, like, she was a cigarette baby.
My bio. Even though her mama smoked with her, she came out and beat all the odds. I'm like,
you got, for Fitness Out of Game, you got to have a special Mother's Day edition where it's a mother holding a cigarette with hold her hand on her stomach.
It's like how you can have aspirations to be somebody and do certain things, and because it's a different climate. Like I was saying, it was back in the day when you went to school, and basically everybody in the community might be amongst the boys would be just to get a job in a factory. I can't recall, but like I might have mentioned at the pool. I can't recall, but a couple of times I know somebody that broke out of there and they went to Morehouse and they were preachers. The two were preachers. And I know one particular guy, I didn't know, he was a couple of grades, well, no, he was more than 4 or 5 grades ahead of me. But his name was Julius Franks. He made All-American, which is, and then he became a dentist. But I'm just saying, once you can get out, once you can break out and get out, you can change your whole life, But basically, nobody thought about going to no college, And when you, like I was saying too, and I got robbed. I might have mentioned it to Freddie. I got robbed when I thought they were doing me a favor by not teaching me nothing, The first time somebody said, "Oh, that's a good teacher," yeah, you can get a D and pass, No ambition to get no a 4 or grade or A student, All you want to do is get used because there was no future in nothing, Nobody want to hire you, nobody want to do nothing, but you can go to the factory, work. But I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You take the dime store, they call them dime store. Kresge, you've heard of Kresge, right?
No, Kresge, sir. I know what you're talking about.
They were 10-cent stores, Well, the young white girls could go there and get a job in the evening and work and make some money, But there was never a black girl could get a job, doing none of that stuff, So I mean, that's a hell of a disadvantage because you see a kid coming to school like the boys came to school, maybe they had on some new shoes and the pants and stuff. But I didn't know they was working, getting paid for what they were doing. I'd done something stupid. Well, it wasn't stupid at the time. I took a printing trade course, and I learned to print pretty good. But I didn't know that the teacher was sending kids out for jobs in the evening, the white kids, and they were making them pretty good, nothing there. They come to school with new pants and all that, but they were working, And I didn't find that out till I was on the streets out in post office. And I met a young guy, he was working for Michigan Consolidated Gas, and we bumped into each other on the street. And he was telling me about, but it slipped, I guess, because he never thought about it like that. He said, man, would you send me out, man? I had these jobs, and I'm listening, he ain't never even mentioned it to us, So all those guys that taking that same printing course, they were making money. And I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't know the teacher was sending them out, different jobs, working part-time. So that's the way it went back in the day,
Well, like, did y'all hear that though? Like that was disheartening and motivational at the same time. Like, did you hear him say that they didn't really work hard to get good grades because they felt like there was nothing for them after school? Like that's I don't even know how to take
that's
that.
How it is. That's how it still is.
But no, okay. Like at least now kids know they can go to McDonald's or somewhere and get a job. He's saying that they had no idea what they were going to do. So, Pops, when you were in high school, what did you think your plans were after graduation? If you felt like when did you know you were going to go to the military, or that may have been your only route? Because back then they still didn't even want your black tail there anyway. So, like, how do you maneuver with all that? Like, how do you set goals for your life when you're living in that type of environment?
Well, we as I recall, unemployment was kind of slow, and the future for a job might have been, pretty slim, So me and my buddy, there were three of us, two decided we'd go into the army, Because that was employment. That's the way it is now. You go into the army and get money. Of course, you can be successful by getting a military job and things, rather than stay out there on the street and you ain't got no job, you're gonna wind up with a problem on your hand,
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, going into the army was like a step up. Just like when I'm thinking about a step up, in a way, it's sort of like we was talking about Inkster and Malcolm X proof. He was talking about there used to be some projects, federal housing over off of Middle Belt, but they had central heat, Now that ain't no step down going into no federal housing. That was at the time, that was a step up, But that was back in the days of the coal stove. You didn't have no money for no coal. You in big trouble, So I'm just saying things change, So when you went to the federal housing, that was a step up, man, because it was hell, otherwise, I can't explain it, but
no, I mean,
you are.
You reaching you like the same stuff not the exact same, but similar stuff that's happened that you experienced still happen. Like I know in high school, I don't know if they still do it because I'm not in high school anymore, but there were certain teachers in certain classes that would just get you to get along. That was an automatic A as long as you didn't like do nothing stupid. Like that was that's not unheard of because it's just they getting paid regardless,
right.
Like they got to have some teachers sit in the seat. So why they gotta make it hard for themselves? Apparently,
yeah, true. Now, if you didn't learn nothing, then nothing out there for you no way. So, but some muscle work, But it's like I say, it's kind of different. It's hard to kind of translate what's going on now and what happened back then.
Well, no, you grew up during the tail end of the horticulture and industrial and like mid part of the industrial age, where like you said, you didn't need an education. As long as you had an able body and you could like, do manual labor, you were good, because that's all they needed you for, was to do manual labor. Now we moved. Now the white collar job has become the blue collar job. Everything is, you got to be able to use a computer or a terminal or something to see. Like even trainers now, right? They got machines at the gym where it could tell you your highest output per rep, and you got to be able to know how to use that program, and like you got to get certified in it. Like everything.
Why you talk about trainers like they dummies?
Well,
even trainers have to get trained.
I'm saying the last bastions of just a primarily physical labor are like athletic trainers and like trainers. Like you don't have to teach somebody to use a computer. Like you know how techniques to get yourself in shape. It's not the same thing. Like it's not the same thing. Like now, I'll even add to that. You have to know nutrition now. Like back in the day, like in the 50s, like just put more weight on it. If you grow your muscles bigger, it'll grow bigger than the fat. That's how it was back.
To it. It's more information.
Let me give you a picture of the 30s, if I can, somewhat. Within a mile of everybody's house, just about 2 miles at the max, there was a theater. Most of the information that you got from the theater. They used to have on the week, they'd have the weekly news, So you picked up everything from the theater, news that you could get, I'm saying this because I remember back when I was a kid. I'm gonna show you how you can be influenced, by certain things. When Adolf Hitler came to power, and Germany was on the rise, because at one time people in Germany was hungry too. They were starving, in fact. But they used to show the Hitler Youth Program, And I'm saying to myself, hey, I like that. The kids all in uniform, they different sports programs and everything, and they getting that 3 meals a day, square, So I got a different opinion at first from Adolf Hitler than anybody else. Over the years, you see after the war, 1941 and 42, when they started that, that was a different thing. But I'm talking, when you're a kid, and you back in it, and the folks over there doing good, and you ain't making it hardly, it's a different world,
Pops was like, look at those Hitler kids over there eating.
What do you say?
Interesting. He was like, look at those little Hitler kids over there eating.
Oh yeah, man, they eating uniforms and everything, and marching and everything over here. Over here, you couldn't even go into a store without somebody.
What you just described, Rap, was
you can't come in here,
What you described, Rap, is really interesting.
Well, I hate to go, but I got a hard stop. I got a 2:00 call that I got to jump on.
Give me your final thought.
Man, as if I wasn't already impressed by Pops and his optimism, I'm even more today. Just that hurt to hear. In high school, there was no motivation to even try hard because there was nothing for us afterwards. Like that puts things into perspective on the change that has happened, because at least we have options now. It may have been incremental, but there's been change. But and I'm mad I'm dry right now. But
I'm dry too. I ain't got no water either.
Mad I'm empty. But that for some reason that bothered me and impacted me. So for that, I just still appreciate, respect the heck out of Pops for all that he's gone through and for who he is today, and just being absolutely positive and optimistic about it all. So, all right.
Before you finish, I'd like to see this one thing. My middle sister, her claim to fame was that she got a job. She was the first, like we always got the first. She was one of the first black to work for Kroger's, not Kroger's, but Kresge. And she worked down there on Hastings on the. She was just working with Kresge, was in the black community. She got it, and she was the first. First thing, I'm the first. We still going on the same bull crap. I'm the first, you know.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
But because they didn't hire nowhere could you get a job in all these five and dime stores, black person, young women, you know, who needed to work because now we was hurting, you know.
Yeah.
Young black girls, they
Go ahead,
couldn't nowhere.
Talking about?
And it kind of hurts to think about what happened over the years, you know, how they treat. So we always come up there, I'm the first.
Shoot, I would brag on it too with all that trash, but love y'all to pieces. I gotta go. Hopefully my meeting is short. If it's short and y'all still on, I'll come back. If not, I'll see you. Oh, you gotta go back to work. Okay. Well, I'll see y'all next week then. All right, y'all.
Love you, Auntie. Well, what was I gonna say? Well, I guess I'll get my final thought last because actually, no, I'll go first because I know Grandpa's gonna respond to it. Well, Grandpa kind of described about seeing those Hitler kids when he was growing up having something, and when he was like, "Man, they can eat and they got uniforms and stuff," without knowing everything that was behind it. I mean, we see that.
You ain't thinking about the politics of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying,
eating 3 meals a day.
What I'm saying is, we still have that now. Like, there's still organizations, or like some people, like there's still organizations, there's still gangs, there's still terrorist organizations where people in those areas, like who don't have other options, are looking at that and it's like they're getting fed. Like, I'm not getting fed, and I remember when my dad sent a letter that I read like when as an adult when he was in the Gulf War, talking about how they had captured somebody, and like he was just like he was on post, so he was like guarding or whatever, and like he was listening to them talk, and he was just like writing about how these people are just like normal people. They're just trying to live and eat and all that stuff, and like society posts like not the people who are doing the main planning and the main evil, but the people who are at the very bottom, who are just there trying to get food every day, who don't like think they have another choice. Like I that still happens. So that's my final thought. The more things change, the more things stay the same.
Did your dad ever tell you about the letter that the Iraqi guy wrote to the president of the United States? He was trying to get it delivered,
No.
And one of the prisoners, because they was guarding the prisoners. The guy wrote a letter, and he wanted to see if he could to get them to deliver this, get it to the president of the United States. But like, only thing I'm saying is they just common people trying to survive, and the folks gonna put you in this crap, man. They don't care about you.
Right.
All the 1,000 people died over there, and you talk to them. It's just like I've talked to them when I was over in Japan at the time after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to a lot of people and go to the homes, they just human just like we is, I've seen a Japanese woman say, my son was killed on the Iwo Jima, was killed on Saipan, or one of the things, they got because they cremate people, and they had their urns there at the house, and then they get to talk and they bring back some tears, to what happened to them, Of course, we do the same because we lost a lot of folks, on them islands too, Well, all I'm trying to say is they're just as human as we are. They got their aches and pains just like everybody else. You want to make like that's your enemy or something. You're your enemy because the politics got him out there fighting in the first place. But I see they be crying too. Hey, y'all, you killed my son. So like I say, we just all human beings. Trying to survive. But the media or the thing trying to make like the loyalty, God and country, Let's get them. Let's get them nips. Let's get them jobs. Let's get them the Krauts and stuff like that. You all of a sudden you don't change them into monsters.
Right. Well, what's your final thought, Cooper?
Well, I was just thinking about this kind of idea of people growing up in an environment and what's the best environment for them to grow up in. One that's fully supported, mid supported, or you're on your own. And I think it really comes down to the person and the decisions that they're gonna make. Because you got many examples of two people growing up in the same environment and one thriving and one not. And that environment was struggle. Two people grow up in struggle, one struggles, one thrives. Two people grow up in wealth, one struggles, one survives, right? Like it's not, I don't think it, I mean, I think there are things that you can do to maybe give people more chances, but ultimately it comes down to your self-motivation. Your parents can try all they want to, right? Sometimes it's up to that individual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%.
That's it, Josh. We out.
Yeah, that's another show. That's episode. What episode are we on now?
144.
Episode 144. 12 times 12.
Give you a math equation before we go too.
What significance is that?
Nah, he said 144, and I just
You said 144. You said 144, right?
You about to get the Hebrew.
Yeah.
That's significant. I don't know what it means, but the 144,000.
That might have to be that's a new trigger there.
You knew where I was going with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're about to break down the mysteries of the universe again at the end of the show.
Let's save it for the next one.
Next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week I'll have some more updates. But yeah, man, that's it. See you guys. Love you guys.
All right.
Okay.
You too.
Be safe.
Yeah.